What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Where's the Ding? And as you'll see today, I probably won't hit it very much. We're going to take a swing at the Week 33 Champion Tournament. Playing on Olympic Club. Moderate wins, championship greens. Let's give it a go, see how we do. Haven't really warmed up, so chances are pretty slim. Me starting off very well. All right, well, we got a big wind going right, and we got that big tree. Well, what do you think? Want to go for it? What's the worst that can happen? Let's find out. Hey, looks like I squeaked through. Did we aim right? Come on, wind. There we go. All right. You're going to hear a lot of clicking on my calculator because I'm a calculator clicker. We got a big wind, 242. That's going to about take care of the wind, so we're just going to try to get it down there as quickly, as closely as possible. Might be a little short here. Yeah, we expected that. But that's all the club we had, so we're looking at championship 13s. So 20.5 minus 2 divided by 1.35. Looking at about 13. So we're going to hit this at around 46%. Let's take a look at our, there, about right there. There we go. Let's see how we do here. Just a teensy bit. And as usual, when I play 13s, I usually do burn the edges quite a bit. That was a tough miss putt there. That was so close. All right, so we're going to give it just a touch. Nice straight fairway. It is going to kick left here on us. All right, well, at least the wind's straight on. So we got 149, 10-mile-an-hour wind. We're going to be adding about 8.3. Plus we have an elevation of about 7.3. 164. I don't want to try to get there with a 160. I just don't think I'm going to make it. So we're going to jump up 175. And I'll take off just a hair. Let's see. All right, come on. Sit down. Sit. Ooh. I could have taken off just a little bit more there, it looks like. But that's all right. That's not terrible. This is a pretty long putt, though. So, all right. Bend. Yeah. Those big sweepers like that, getting the speed right and the aim right's the real trick. And I'm sure you watch people do it a whole lot better than me. But we're trying to at least hit our average and even better if possible. So we got 245, but we've got the wind behind us. So let's take that into account. So we're going to take off about 7 yards. But we also have a huge drop. So it's bringing it down to around a 218 after the math. So right there is about 220 for me. So we're going to give it just a little bit more. Let's see if we can hit the ding here and at least get on that side of the green. Went a little past, but it looked like I needed to go a little more. Not bad on the distance. Aim was a little off. Another big sweeper here, 17. But after our green adjustment, we're looking at about 13. About a 44 on my meter. Well, right there. So let's see how we do here. I pushed it a little, and it's still not going to help me. Okay, yeah, like I said, 13s, I usually burn the edges a lot because it's just such a fine tune between your aim, green speed, how well you hit it. This is another one of those where this tree right here to the left can really grab you. So what am I looking at here? 309, and it's downhill. Well, you know, no guts, no glory. We're going toward the tree. All right, we jumped up over it. That's good. And we got a little push that should bring us back. All right, hold up. Don't go off. There we go. Well, we kept that on the fairway. Can't complain at that much. Got a big wind behind us. Looks like that's playing at about a 65 degree. But it's way uphill. So it's about 110. Adjust for the wind. 110 on my 125 club is about 89. Let's see. All right, well, we caught the ding. Looks like the wind's not helping us a bit there, but it is going to bend back around. Yeah, that's not really, it's not a good shot. By the way, I'm a field putter. I guess if I watch the dots videos about 300 more times, I might try to understand it, but I am just not that damn smart. I know my limits. I live them. Now we got a 5.4 downhill. And if we adjust that at our normal ratio, you guys watch my putting pace video, 1.35 is going to be a little fast there. So I'm going to bump that up to about a 1.375 coming down. And that's going to give us about a 10 on our 10 footer is what we want to hit, is about 10 foot. And it still might be a little fast. So that's, so 10 foot on my 30 meters, about 35. We got a break to our right coming. Doesn't look like much of a break, but it's going to be going a little slower, so it's going to break a little more. So we're going to hit that about 34 here. And I did give it a little push. Maybe that'll help us, and maybe it'll hurt us. Where's the ding? Now you understand why I named my little channel series Where's the Ding? Because I am just not that great at hitting it. Now we're just going to ram this up the hill at about 9. And it never moved. Now, I don't know if you guys saw a break there, but I did. But when you go that fast, you take the break out. So the harder you hit it, less break it's going to give you, of course. All right, so far not so good. And again, we've got another one of those situations where we're going to have a tree come into play. And I'm just going to try to do this without any backspin to see if I can keep it low. There we go. There we go. We kept it low enough. If we'd have given that backspin and it jumped up and hit the branches there. Remember, backspin affects your ball flight. All right, 171. We've got a 8-mile-an-hour wind behind us. So 171 times 8 divided by our wind formula. I'm going to take off about 5.8. And we got an elevation drop of about a 2 also. That brings our shot down to 163. So that gives us 160, 163, about right there. Might be a little long. It's aiming a little much there. How about that? All right. Well, we don't have a heartbeat, so we must be way long. What did I call that wrong? All right. Well, you guys see while I'm only running a 64 average. All right. Uphill. Our calculations, it's about a 10-foot putt. So again, about 35. Got a decent amount of break, maybe not quite that much. There we go. We'll change to our 30 meter. If you've watched my videos, you know how much of an idiot I am when it comes to changing the meter. Just try to remember, get through a single round without doing it. And again. Now, the people that are shooting 50, 52, 55, they understand the dots. They know how to use them well, and that's why they're in the 50s. And I will keep watching the videos, and I will keep trying to understand it. But it is not that hugely important to me right now for a couple of reasons. First off, I'm still changing balls every 5 levels. I'm still changing clubs every 5 levels. I'm not really in a position where I'm going to be using the same ball, the same clubs all the time. I've mapped a little bit of these clubs because I have been using them for about 7 to 8 levels, so I have mapped a little bit of these clubs. But until you really start, I think that's going to be a little short. Until you really have consistency with ball, clubs, now we are talking about putting, so putting's a little different. But I guess what I'm saying is, until I get to a point where I'm going to be using the same ball and the same clubs for more than just a few levels. Mapping every single club, not hugely important, and gives me more time to learn the dot system to putting. I am worried about my average. I do try to lower my average, but I also play just to have some fun. So we're looking at about a 22-foot putt here uphill. It's about 35% of my 60 meter. I'm going to be hitting this a little harder. If you'll remember my pace video, I try to use the meter, and I'm just a little bit on the amateur side every putt. So knowing that, what I'm going to start doing is just adjusting a little bit more for the break to try and give myself a little bit better chance. I don't want a full backspin here, but I want this thing flying as far as it can before it touches ground. Try to hit that little sliver of a fairway. Oh, yeah, all right, it stopped right on the fairway. There we go. Now, there's two schools of thought here. Punch or full. I would never try a pitch here, especially with this break. But if you guys have been watching my videos, you know I don't really pitch that much anyway. I just cannot find a consistency, and I think it's because of the low-level wedges, the low-level ball, don't have the proper spin. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go with something a little more familiar to me. I'm just going to take a full shot with full backspin. We are going to take this wind into account. So what do we got? 33, 10 mile an hour in our face. It's going to add about a yard. We got a 6-foot elevation, so that's going to add 2. So we're looking at about a 36-yard shot. Wind's not going to move it much. All right, well, go just a touch more. There we go. And I pushed it a little, but not bad. Not bad at all. So we'll take that. Maybe grab our first birdie of the day. Get us back to even. We've got a long way to go if we're going to shoot our average today. Now keep in mind, this is the Champions Tournament. If I'm not mistaken, they adjust values a little bit in the tournaments. So we're looking at a 205-yard shot. Wind's not going to vary much at all. It's a little bit more than 7 foot uphill, so we're just going to add 7. So that's going to give us, what, 212? Looks like a full backspin for me. Let's adjust for that wind. And let's just see how we do here. Gave it a little push. And you never can miss. Looks like I was long on that anyway. Way long. When the wind is pushing left or right, okay? So you've got a right-hand wind. You don't want to miss with the wind because it's not even going to start your ball where you aimed. You can miss into the wind. So if you've got a right-hand wind, missing a little bit early into the wind can help, or hold that ball a little more in place to where it goes where you want it. But you can never miss with the wind. All right, if I try to pitch this, I'm going to either end up right here, or it's going to hit here and it's going to go way over there. So we're going to try and flop this, get it to sit. That's a pretty nasty grass we're in. That rough is 40-50. So we're going to bat at about 4 for that. We've got wind in our face. I'm going to add another one for that. So we're downhill 1. So we're going to hit this at about 16.5, which is about 87% of our lob wedge here. When you're flopping, it's going to go right because you're opening the face. So let's take a little swing at this. And we still got some roll out there, but that's not bad. I'm using an almost no spin ball, very low level wedges, no spin. So I got about as good as I could expect out of that, out of the clubs that I'm using. I maybe did add a little too much for the wind, which could have made a little bit of a difference, but this is not terrible. Ended up with about a 12-foot putt. Now, we know that we've been going to the amateur side just a little, so let's aim just a little bit more. We're going to go up to our 30 meter. We want to try to keep our putt under 50, remember, if you remember my pace video. And I gave it a little pull, and that time I am to the right side, what they call the pro side being above the cup, amateur side being below it, but I still burn the edge. So we're going to take another bogey. Not a stellar round, guys and gals, but we're having fun. And you know what? That's what the game's about. It's about having fun. Yeah, I want to do well, but I'm not going to, be upset and let it ruin my day. Going to play the best I can on the course that it gives me. All right, so we've got a good wind in our face. We've got a back pin placement, which is pretty tough pin placement because you can, if it gets up here and releases just a little, you're down into this little gully behind the green. So we might come up a little short here. So 166, and it looks like about a 13-mile-an-hour wind. It's in our face. We're going to add about 11.5. Plus we're uphill. It's not quite 1, but we will add a little bit. It's about 178 is what the math is coming out to. Now, we know that right around there gives us 175. So we want to go up here a little bit. Plus we got wind, so the wind is going to affect, because it's a stronger wind. So whereas this would be a little long, it should still come up a little short here. We pushed it a little into the wind. Yeah, it came up way short. But we missed the ding anyway, so it really would not have mattered if we'd have got it right anyway. All right, so we're looking at about 10. We're going downhill. So we're going to go 9.5. problem is I'm not going to get a pitch is going to hit about here and it's just going to squirt. I'm really not comfortable with that. So we're going to go back to the flop. And we're going to hit this about 12. I wanted it below the hole, but not that much. That was a bad shot, guys and gals. That was a bad shot. I was way early. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. So we're looking at about an 18-foot putt. We adjust for our green speed. I come up to a 30 and about 43. And remember, were we aiming and then had a little bit because we've been burning to the amateur side. I gave it a little pull and I did the same thing again. Come to the pro side, but a little too much. I might fine tune this by the 18th hole and make a putt. So there's another bogey. Not only are we not going to shoot our average, it doesn't look like we're going to even fucking shoot par. Oh, pardon my language. By the way, this is not made for kids. I do let out a curse word every now and then. Does that mean I'm angry? No, it just means that I'm letting out a curse word. Well, what do you think? Am I going to get through here? Am I going to do it? Am I going to make it through? Let's find out. Angry trees. Nope. Angry tree crop me. All right. Well, this is a good spot to do a little teaching moment. If you try to go for this, you're going to end up in worse trouble. Course management. If you find yourself in trouble like this, just get yourself to a safe area. I'm not going to hit any trees hitting this shot here. I'm going to get myself to a safe area, and then I'm going to have a shot into the green. If I were to go for it here, I could end up spending 3 more shots just trying to get back to the fairway. Or I could bite the bullet, come back here, just put a shot onto the fairway, take my medicine. Now, I didn't leave us a I didn't leave us a short shot, but that's our medicine for hitting angry trees. 171 with a nice wind behind us, about 9 miles an hour. It looks like about 75% on our meter. If you guys would like me to do a video about my wind meter, it's actually Young 46's wind calculation meter, but I can do a video on it as well if you would like, with illustrations and stuff, like I did with the putting pace video, where I lay out the graphs and the circles and the numbers, do all the math for you. Leave me a message and I will do that for you. Although I'm not proving with this round very well that anything I'm doing is working correctly. So we're looking at about 164 with the wind. We don't have a lot of green to work with here in front of the ball. So we're going to try to set this down nice and soft. And again, I missed with the wind, and look how far it pushes you. If I'd have missed the same little distance on the other side, it would have kept me about right here. But missing with the wind, it almost doubles your miss. But as you can see, I am not that great at finding the ding sometimes. There's some rounds where I kill it. You've seen my videos. You've seen that I have some real good ding rounds. This is not one of them. All right, let's adjust for the green speed. Looks like about a 17-foot putt. So I'm going to go up to my 60 meter this time. And that's about 29%. We're going to adjust for the break. We're hitting a little harder. So let's see. Yep, I pulled it. That means it'll come to this side. Yep. All right. This is one of those rounds that you are normally not shown. This is one of those rounds that creators or, people who record their videos and post them will just delete and say, you know what? I don't need to show you guys this. But this is a good I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's good to show these rounds every now and then, just to remind people that not every round is going to be a good round. I don't think I've ever seen anyone have a good round all the time, unless you're, one of those guys that are like level 110 up, 200, 250, and I think 200 is the max. I'm not sure. All right, 120. It's going to push us a little. Plus, we've got almost 3 foot up, so we'll just say 3 foot. That's real close to our pitching wedge. So let's adjust for the wind. We're not going to use any backspin here, so it's not going to move as much. It is going to move some. I'm going to say about right there. And we're going to just now you see how I missed a little bit with the wind that time, and it did okay. It was a little long. Yeah, I guess I did figure I shot at 98%, not at 99, so my fault. All right, another one of those big downhills. So we're going to hit this at about 6.3. So we'll bring our meter down to 15 because we don't need it that high. This is going to move quite a bit because we're not hitting it that hard. About so close, so close. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this really is not going like I hoped. I was really hoping to give you guys a nice solid round, talk through. But I'm giving you guys a absolutely horrendous round with a talk through. All right. Oh, wow. We're just really not hitting well at all, to be honest. Sorry about that. Microphone a little squealing at you. My apologies. All right, so we got about a 9-mile-an-hour wind in our face. And through our meter, that's going to give us about 7.5. But we're also dropping about 4.3. So that gives us about 170 yard shot. Now this gives us 175 about there. So we're going to bring that down a little bit more for our 170. Got a big wind, so it's going to slow it down a little bit more. There we go. See, we missed a little bit into the wind, and it didn't hurt us that bad. We got a nice members bounce. Knowing the layout of the green that it was going to kick a little bit left there, I did not mind being on that side. And maybe I should say that before I make my shot so it doesn't sound like I'm just making it up as I go along. Although that could be the case. All right. 188 yards, but we got a big wind, 12 mile an hour, coming out of the west. Looking at about 50% on the meter. So we're going to add about 6.3. Now we have a little bit of an elevation, not quite 1, but we will add for that. And when I add 0.1, 1 foot is 0.33, 2 foot is 0.66, and then 3 foot is 1 to 1. All right, so we're looking at about 195 yards here. We do have a big wind. So if we're on a 205 club, right around here is about our 205 and just in no wind, okay? So we should be just a teensy bit long here. And but if I come off of my meter a little bit, I'm really afraid of coming up short. So I'm going to take a little bit long, plus I want to take a little bit left because I do not want to be right at the hole. Because I want that uphill putt from the left side of it. There we go. Now the wind's going to bring us back a little bit, and hopefully we should still be a little bit to the left of the hole. We're a little bit past. I would have liked to have been a little bit short there. If I was a little bit short, I'd have been going straight uphill in this direction, but now I've got this nice bend. All right. Like I told you guys before, ram it. So what we're going to do, let's take our own advice. There we go. Now it's just a goal to try to get ourselves back to even par. The elusive ding for a change there. It can happen. It can happen. We got a nice kick. Left ourselves a fairly good shot in here. Maybe our lob 80-yard lob wedge shot in. So let's take a look. 71, but we got a wind behind us. 11 miles an hour. That's about 75 on the angle. Maybe a little less, but we're going to take it that way. So that's going to take off about 2.6. But we have 6 foot. We're going to add 18 foot, so 6 going up. So that leaves us at about 74.4. Got a little wind here. 74.4 divided by 80. Remember, I was telling you how to get your percentage on your club. It's about 93%. Now again, I don't want to be above the hole here, so I will go a little bit extra left. And let's hit 93. Let's see. I pushed with it, but that's okay. Sit. That released. I had two ways of hitting that shot. Hitting it in 93 or trying full backspin at 100. The fear with the full backspin on my 80-yard lob wedge is it grabs and shoots back off the green. I think I'd rather have a putt than another chip back up to the putting surface. I mean, back up to the hole. So we'll take the putt. All right, going downhill. It's not that bad, so we're going to leave it at our normal formula, about 11.5. All right, so let's look at that. Well, right there. I'm going to hit this about 38. We're going to try to do it at 38, not 39 like we did a minute ago. We hit the ding. Let's see how we did. Well, finally. Good things can happen when you hit the ding, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's what I should name it. Good thing happens. Good things happen when you hit the ding. All right, 149 yards. Well, we got a big wind. 13 mile an hour in our face. That looks at about a 60 degree. So that gives us about 6.5. We're going to add to our shot. Plus we have a 12-foot elevation, which is another 4. So that's about 159.5. So we're just going to figure 160. Now this would normally give me 160 right there, but big wind, I'm going to come off of it. I'm going to give that a little bit off of my backspin. That's how you manipulate 1 or 2 yards. Let's see how we do here with that little slight manipulation. Now, we missed a little bit into the wind. And look at that. Wow. Almost like I knew what I was doing there. Don't tell anyone. They won't believe you. It's a pretty big roll. There we go. Ram it in. Try not to let that break get you. All right, so what are we looking at? It's uphill, and it's not a big wind, so we're just gonna give us just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now this one is an absolutely impossible for me to get on in 2. Even when playing from the front tees, it's impossible for me to get on in 2. So you never want to try to push it too much. Just let the ball stay in the fairway so you don't have to deal with any kind of rough. Play for the birdie, not the eagle. You'll have a pitching wedge or under coming in usually. This pin placement is a little funky. It has a tendency to kick and roll past. It is breaking left here. All right, so we got 130, 129, an 8 mile an hour wind. Again, that looks about like 75% on our meter. With our formula, that has us taken off about 3.5. And then we're not quite 2, so we're going to add 1.66, because remember, 0.33 would be 4, 0.66 would be 5, and then 2 would be 6. Okay, so we're going to add 1.66. That leaves us about 127 going in. With a full backspin, that should be about 135. Now I'm going to adjust this way a little, but I don't want it to be up here. I would rather it be here. So let's see how we do. And I am way long. Whoa. Now, a 135 club with full backspin just went 140. Some shots baffle me, guys and gals. Some shots baffle me. And that is definitely one of those shots that baffle me. Here's one of the times that I will use a pitch shot. I'm not that far off the green. I will make it to the green. It's not a huge decel in elevation. There's a little break here. We're going to hit this about 56%. There we go. And it looks like we aimed right as well. All right. Trying to make a decent run on this back 9. That horrible front 9, though, it's looking good on the back 9, but it's not looking good on the scoreboard. We're still only sitting at 2 under. That's nowhere near our average. But at least we've made up for a few really bad shots. And a few, I don't know what the heck that was, shots. Now again, we've got a headwind, 235 on our club, plus it's going up 40 foot. Chances of me getting there are slim. I'm not going to give it full backspin. I am going to adjust for the wind. The longer the ball's in the air, the more it's going to move. So we are going to adjust for a little bit more wind, and we're just going to try to get it up there as close as possible. And again, I missed with the wind, not against it. There we go. Not great. A little short. Now, this is one of those gray areas where pitching gets weird to me. And I usually take a full shot in. So I'm going to do what I'm comfortable with. All right, so we got 23. We're going up almost 6 foot, so 25 plus with the wind, 25, a little bit more than 25. And we're going to roll a little bit left after it hits. The wind's going to push us a little bit also. So I'm going to go at about 56%, maybe a little bit more. Right there. And we got a little roll. Could have got in there for me. Really could have got in there for me. All right. We're going to take that for a birdie. That would have been a nice eagle. That would have been a real nice eagle there. Do what you're comfortable with. If you're uncomfortable with a shot, chances are slim it's going to do what you want it to do. Do what you're comfortable with. Now this is one of those where you could really get messed up here. And I like leaving myself. So we're looking at a full 344. I ain't going to get up there. 302 probably not going to get there. So knowing that's the case, I'm going to aim right back down in here, and I'm going to lay up just a touch, try to keep myself in the middle of the fairway, just to make sure that I don't get into too much trouble. Just course management. I could have tried to get up here, but I could have got myself into trouble. Right now I'm in the middle of the fairway. I'm going to be able to use my 80-yard wedge in. It's not going to be a bad shot. So 57. We have an 11-mile-an-hour wind in front of us. It's running at about 70%. So that adds about 2. Plus we have 24 foot, which is 8. We're going to add 8 for the 24 foot. So that's about a 67-yard shot. 67-yard shot's about 93% with full backspin. So we're going to go right about there. 93%. We do have a heartbeat. Let's see how close we get. Back up some. Back some more. Back up. All right. Not terribad. Not terribad. And not a terrible putt either. Looks like it's not really breaking much, so we're just going to put this right on in. There we go. All right. So, not one of my best rounds. 2 over my average, if you will, but when you consider the front 10, it's not bad bringing it back. Shooting a 30 on the back 9, it's pretty good. We brought it back. Just keep with it. Even if it starts bad, it could turn okay. And again, we're over our average, but we showed some excellent recovery skills on the back 9. Let's take a look at our stats here. Shot a 66. We had 4 bogeys. Played all of our par 5s. Very good. Our driving, 93. I think we would have been 100 if he hadn't hit that tree, that one angry tree. We might have been in 100, I believe. I don't know if I missed another fairway or not. Our approach shots, really not that great. We didn't do that great at all. We were only 25% scrambling, which is dismal. Dismal. I don't believe we're in the bunker at all, so we don't have to worry about that. Putting, we made an 18-footer. We had a almost 57-foot total. This one hurt us here. It's 3-putt and a lot of 2-putts. But for me right now on 13s, I do a lot of 2-putts because, like I said, I burn the edges a lot. And our meter stats actually did not end up bad. We had a good back 9, which brought those into play. Well, there we go. I know we're not going to be on the leaderboard. We'll take a look real quick at what other people are shooting. We're in the limited. There we go. And this was the champion tournament, by the way, first round. Olympic Club. And it looks like people are shooting in the 63s, and, well, 66, I'm 11 for the moment, but that is not going to last at all. There's going to be some 58s, 59s, maybe even lower, probably before the day is out. Well, I appreciate you guys watching around with me, watching how my thought process is when I go through shots and what I'm looking at and wind and where I want to try to place my ball. Best thing to take away from this is you can salvage a bad start. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you continuing to watch. I love your comments. Keep them up. You guys have watched me. If you can help me, please. I'm still learning. Very, very, very much am I still learning, and would love any input, all input. If you're not a subscriber, please do, and leave a like if you enjoyed it. Thanks again. Have a blessed day.